Alrighty, hello everybody. Good morning. You guys know the drill. Let me know if you can hear me. Perfect. All right. Good morning. Welcome to the Hurley Investments Trade Findings and Adjustments of December 8th, 2022. Getting right into it, just a follow-up from last week. We were the day after the Wednesday where Jerome Powell came out and said that they might ease the rate hikes to 50 basis points instead of 75 basis points, and that's what helped the market out that week. What day was that? Look on my calendar. That was the 30th, which makes perfect sense. This would be that day. Big, huge up day, and that was probably kind of it. You can kind of see this is the NASDAQ, which basically topped out that day before coming back down. See if we can get to this S&P once again. That's the NASDAQ again. I don't know why. Here it is. S&P had a big day up to the above that 200-day moving average. Big, nice bullish sign, getting over that resistance level. But what happened? So we had that Wednesday, which was the market really liked. And then we had Friday, which I mentioned, depending on unemployment numbers, and they were actually non-farm payroll numbers. I don't know why I said unemployment, but they were economic employment numbers of the non-farm payroll. That was tomorrow, which was last Friday, which came in better than expected. So more people getting hired, which is not what the market wanted to see, not what the Fed wants to see. They want to see things start to slow down. They want to see things, job openings narrow and lessen. And so that kind of put a pause in that big good news up day on the 30th. You can see it kind of stall on the 1st, which was the last Thursday. And it was again a wait and see. Got some protection off that day. As things were heading up. Came down to test the 200-day. Went back up on that Monday this week. And then started to fall right through it. So started to get protection back on Tuesday, some on Wednesday of stocks that hadn't really started to fall yet of what we have, and that is kind of the gist of it. So what happened? Well, obviously that Friday last week did not help push the market to continue up. And so that put a big question mark as to what Fed Powell would really end up doing. And that we find out next Wednesday, the next FOMC meeting. So what is happening today? Let me get all this garbage off. So today we have December 8th, initial claims. So more employment / unemployment numbers, employment claims coming in higher than expected. The consensus, it's not showing it on briefing site, but it was around 210,000 and came in at 230. So once again, bad news is good at this point. Want to see jobs slowing down. And this looks like kind of the opposite of what's happening, what we were being told Friday, where there are more unemployment claims. Of course, there's different time frames involved here, and this is the market once again reacting on some news and not really knowing what to expect and what to plan for and where things are going to go and what is going to happen. Good jobs mean our economy is going to do good, but it also might mean that the Fed might continue to raise rates. So we got some cross currents. We also have our NASDAQ, and by the way, this is kind of going through about 2-hour discussion that Kevin and I had this morning about what we were going to do and what we were seeing. Man, we had just got all this protection back on as things came back down. Big bounce this morning. I think it was up as almost 1%. In fact, at one point, and this is our accounts, were up 0.85% when the market was up 0.92 at the time these numbers were popping up. Markets come back down a bit, eased off. So what was happening? All right, so NASDAQ, you can see some technical stuff happening here. Couple times. Ooh, let me get a better pen, a little smaller. You can kind of count all these little times. The NASDAQ, pretty close on this one. But you go back further, it was resistance level. Three days over here where it was struggling to stay back over this 11,000. So clearly there's something happening here at these numbers. Who can tell me, and what exactly are we looking at here? I wish I had a different color, but here we go. There. Who can tell me what's happening around this line? William says, looks like a support and resistance level. Jim says, stagflation. Maybe you were commenting on when I was talking about the Fed. Let me get back to that, Jim. As far as what I'm looking at here, looking at that technical chart line around 11,000, where we have a lot of sell orders stacked up in the October month, switching to a buy orders stacked up as it blew through that in a couple days, blew through some sell orders, evidently hit some new sell orders along the 11,500 level. But today we're kind of getting a technical bounce on both a 50-day and that 11,000 level. So I typically will get the question, and let me real quick write in the note here. And this is the NASDAQ. And I'll say good news in quotes, scare quotes here. All those things are kind of pushing our market up at least a little bit before it's run a bit out of steam right now. But I get the question, why do technical charts even matter? Isn't it just guessing? Why is it why does it even matter? Sometimes it holds support levels, sometimes it doesn't. Can't really put a ton of weight on it. Hard to understand. man, I hate Word sometimes. All right, here we go. So why do technical charts even matter? I've asked myself this question at times in the beginning. It kind of seems a little silly, and in some ways it really is. For example, for a day trader, nothing really concrete, real, helpful. And I'll say there's no real concrete, real helpful pattern that can give you great odds in intraday, I'll say, movements in the markets. Which is why it's kind of stupid. But oh, Word is so helpful. But technicals show us herd mentality. In other words, where is a lot of money? Let me say this in a different way. Where is big money placing buy and sell orders? Big money, big institutions, they aren't day trading. They can't just show up one day up and decide they're going to sell all this stuff. The next day, all of a sudden decide to buy all this stuff. They're regulated a little differently. They have to pick out their plots, and they create this kind of price ladders, where they pick out their points. They have X amount of shares, percentage of shares that are going to be sold at some price level, and X percentage of shares on XYZ stock that is going to be bought at another level. And so there are orders stacked up at certain points. Certain prices You look in the past, you can kind of see how it goes. Seeing this simply gives us an idea where there might be buy and sell orders on these big institutions that can help explain what might happen on a certain day, like today, NASDAQ bouncing a bit. That might help us understand where we have some support, where we need to watch for resistance. So this creates support and resistance levels. So how does a resistance level get broken through? Or how does a support level, how do we fall through a support level? How do we break through a support or resistance level? Buy orders, those buy orders that are put in by these big institutions. They say, okay, we are ahead of time willing to place a certain percentage of money, of orders to be placed at a certain price, or on the opposite end, sell orders. They get stacked up at these prices. And when they're all used up, they get broken. So you can kind of see these few days here and these days, there was some resistance here, but man, the market, the NASDAQ anyway, went all the way up, jumped right through them. Looks like sell orders at that price were all used up, allowed the market to push higher. Or if they weren't all used up, the other scenario is from a new month, the month ahead, they were set at a higher level. So up here at 11,500 instead of down here. So the market went through it. We've gotten over about a month of this support level, buy orders getting used up. So the question is, are those buy orders, are there still more buy orders after quite a nice long month of time of it bouncing off of this level? Have we used those buy orders up, or are there more stacked up? That obviously the more that it touches that, the more it get bought up, and we've touched it an awful lot of times. But it's also kind of a wait and see. see where things stop and see where things go. So the so what is simply that we're taking note of these things and weighing probabilities. Right now, as Kevin and I talked this morning, yeah, we're having a bit of a bounce there. But how great is our confidence that all those buy orders haven't been used up? And how great is our confidence that our Fed is going to do the right thing come next Wednesday? Adding a note here. Market wasn't following through on buying. So what's our confidence level that the Fed is going to do the right thing and ease their rate hikes down to 50 basis points instead of 75? What's our confidence that they should really do the right thing and just stop raising rates altogether right now? Because for hell's sake, they haven't got anything right in an awful long time. Because the worry, of course, is that they're going to put us into a recession, or I should say further into a recession, more job layoffs. Just had a friend lose his job at a little tech firm here in Utah. You look at the Friday, last Friday numbers that kind of went against what Fed Powell said, and saw that there was some hiring going on. Well, wait a minute. It's Christmas season. Christmas season, retail jobs kick in, bunch of temporary hires, and then they all get let go after Christmas. I'll put have we used up, kind of going back and forth to different subjects. I apologize. But our other question was, have we used up our buy orders on the NASDAQ? Well, I'd like to hope that the Fed up and decides, yeah, we need to taper back. But for hell's sake, we're already 400% higher in our interest rates than we were, a little over a year ago. It's already pretty ridiculous. All to try and solve a problem that honestly the Fed can't really solve. They can make it less easy for companies to hire people because borrowing money then becomes more expensive with higher rates, so they can't justify the hiring. They got to let some people go. I would suspect that their job, and maybe this goes to Jim, your comment on stagflation, I would suspect that they have already overshot and gonna make it an awful difficult start to the year next year for the first half at least. Hopefully they'll start to reverse course a little quicker if they see that, and who knows. But don't have a huge amount of confidence in these guys. I'll just say that. So what did we do? We just left things alone. We're at a great point where, stocks haven't fallen enough for our puts to make up a major portion of the downward movement, but these up days, as I mentioned earlier, we were up altogether 0.85 when the market was up 0.92. We're kind of in the sweet spot where we're still taking part of the up days, but we're not going to take all of the down days. And the S&P is still lower than it was earlier. We had Boeing that was up at 184 this morning. Now it's just under 180 now. Man, it was up big. Glad we have protection still on. Glad we didn't knee jerk, take protection back off. What else do we got? Baidu. Baidu on Tuesday, we had pretty much everything else protected. Baidu is just on a tear and would just keep going up no matter if the market was going down on, China relaxing some of their COVID shutdown policies. But the last couple days this week, beginning this week, Monday and Tuesday, just not able to get over this resistance line and hitting our overbought, which it hadn't hit in quite some time. I mean, this is the last 6 months or so, right? And it just was struggling to hold any gains those last couple days, and I got protection on, and man, it looked amazing yesterday. I looked like a genius Kevin was like the day before, why did you put that on? Baidu's on a tear. It's going up to 200. I gave him the reasons I said to you guys, and then of course that next day, man, I looked like a genius. Today, yeah, it's back up at 120, but look where we're at again. Still not able to get above that pivot point, still hitting that resistance, or excuse me, that RSI level that's overbought. I think I'm okay leaving those on for now. Jim, since you're here, Kevin mentioned you had asked him about Verizon. That was also me. And I just saw this day where we were breaking this 50-day. I decided to get your Verizon taken care of, got some puts there, because technically falling below both a support level and a 50-day moving average, thought it was prudent to get those on for you. Hope that's okay. You can blame that one on me. Perfect. Thanks, Jim. So that's what we're thinking. That's what we talked about. That's what we've done. What questions do you guys have? I'm going to erase this Christmas rally because we really don't know till next week. And next week is what we're protected for. We've got that Fed meeting. And we've got a market that just isn't sure which way it's supposed to go. So instead of taking all of our protection back off today, we're seeing our accounts still doing good on an up day. We're seeing another support level price point on the NASDAQ bounce on, and a buy order is getting eaten up. We still have the Fed coming out with their meeting Wednesday. Not a huge amount of confidence that the right thing will happen there, but obviously we will follow as best we can the reaction that the market gives us. Which again, if it does come in at 50 basis points, you got to figure that we have a Christmas rally on, because right now the market is hoping that we don't get a 75 basis point hike. So there will be a little optimism there, but again, goodness, we're already so high, and our interest rates were already at a level that's stupid. We do think the Fed has somewhat overshot their interest rates to try and slow down the economy, and they overshot it too much. Powell still thinks that there will be a quote unquote soft landing where jobs will slow down a bit but won't put us into a recession. But he also said that, you know, they could pause and stay at 50 basis point, you know, hikes for quite a while, or at least remain at the high point that they are in pause hikes and stay there for quite a while. Which is also not great news. So we will see. All right, not seeing any questions come in, so I assume we are taken care of right now. Just a quick look at an S&P. Can't seem to stay over this pivot point today. Really a mild up day, and of course, you guys know it never just goes straight up or straight down. We get some up days. We get some in a bearish run. We get some down days in a bullish run. And for heaven's sakes, this really is not a extremely convincing up day that we think we need to change course here. So that's where we're at. Guys, thanks for joining me this morning. Have a good Friday. Have a good weekend as usual. Thanks, Jim. And we will talk to you guys next time. I'll join you, of course, again Monday. We'll hear Kevin talk about the week ahead, and he'll have his spin on our conversations this week and what we expect ahead. Talk to you guys later. Take care.